50 million trapped in modern slavery due to pandemic, war, climate crisis, report finds. Children work in the polluted, hazardous areas of Chittagong's waste dump in Bangladesh, May 30, 2022. CNN. From the pandemic to the climate crisis, the disasters of the past 5 years have upended daily life, and a new report shows that in many countries, the ensuing economic uncertainty has pushed millions into modern slavery. An estimated 50 million people worldwide are believed to be victims of forced marriage and forced labor, up 25% from the last estimate in 2016, according to a new report published Monday by the International Labour Organization called the ILO, Work Free, and the International Organization for Migration. Modern slavery refers to forced labor and forced marriage, when someone cannot refuse to comply or escape owing to threat, violence, and deception. The researchers conducted a series of surveys across the more than 180 countries to come up with their result. According to the report, COVID-19, armed conflict, and the climate crisis caused unprecedented disruption to employment and education, leading to an increase in poverty, unsafe migration, and gender-based violence, or risk for modern-day slavery. But ILO's Director General Guy Ryder said nothing can justify the persistence of this fundamental abuse of human rights. We know what we know what needs to be done, and we know it can be done. Effective national policies and regulation are fundamental, but governments cannot do this alone, he said. The report says better laws, stronger legal protections, and greater support for women, girls, and vulnerable people could significantly reduce or one day end modern slavery. Indian laborers works in their pluck tea leaves at the plantation in Gandhigram on April 30, 2019. Women and girls vulnerable. An estimated 22 million people are living in a marriage they have been forced into, the report said, a 43% increase from 2016 figures. More than two-thirds of those forced to marry are women and girls, according to the report, putting them at greater risk of sexual exploitation and violence. More people in Asia and the Pacific were in forced marriage, and when population size was taken into account, researchers found that forced marriage was more prevalent in Arab states. COVID-19 has exacerbated the underlying drivers of all forms of modern day slavery, including forced marriage, the report said. Young boys take part in the awareness rally to mark World Day Against Child Labor in Chennai, India on June 12, 2022. In some countries, lockdowns prevented daily wage workers from earning money, and with schools shut, some families sent their children to work to help put food on the table. India's capital, Delhi, experienced one of the world's longest school lockdowns because of the pandemic, forcing more than 4 million children out of the classroom for more than 600 days. About 10% of children in the city's government schools dropped out of education because of the pandemic and its economic impact on poorer families, according to the Shaheen Mystery, founder of non-profit organization Teach for India. Child marriage has gone up. Violence against the children has gone up. Nutrition is a huge issue, as many of our children depend on school meals, Mystery told CNN in January, and the data published in Monday's report likely does not show the whole picture, as the data only partially reflect the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. The estimates presented in this report are likely to understate the full magnitude of the pandemic's impact, it said. Children and forced labor. Forced labor has increased by 11% to 28 million people since 2016, according to the report, and most one in eight are children, giving the issue special urgency, the report said. More than half of the children are in commercial sexual exploitation, which involves the trafficking crimes where the primary form of forced labor is in sexual services, it added. Qualitative report indicates that the children can be subjected to severe forms of coercion and abuse, including abduction, drugging, being held in captivity, deception, and the manipulation of death, according to the report. Some of the worst abuses occur in situations of armed conflict. About 86% of cases of forced labor are found in private sector industries, including manufacturing, construction, and agriculture, with Asia and the Pacific home to more than half of the global total, according to the report. Research showed the differences between genders when it came to forced labor, including the industries that employ them and the nature of the coercion. Women forced into labor are much more likely than men to perform domestic work, while men are likely to be in the construction sector, the report said. While women are more likely to coerced into forced labor through the abuse and non-payment, men are more likely to receive violent threats and financial penalties, it added.